Right, good afternoon. Sunday the 17th of July today. As you can see, we've got some sun. I've actually got the blind up today, blind over in the front window, so it's letting the light in. So I've got the artificial light off, natural light in. A little bit bright, but we'll make do. So this video is going to be a pretty short one. We've got something different in today. Something I've not had in before, but I've studied quite a lot. I've watched a lot of videos. I've seen good and bad. And I'm going to show you what it is before I tell you what it is. I've took strings off. There's a reason for that. There you go. What's that? Is that like a real Gibson to you? Probably not. The enthusiasts or the people who know probably know straight away. That's not a real Gibson. It's a Chinese made Gibson. I've never had one in before. It's a Chibson. One of these cheap jobbies. I think 150, 160 quid. I've never had one in before. I've seen a lot of videos on them. I thought I almost bought one, and now I've got this in. I'm really glad I didn't. So why would I say that? Well, got a lad contact me with this guitar. I bought it. It's paid 135 quid for it. I think it's cost nigh on up to £300 with import duty and shipping and insurance and whatever, or probably not as much as that. What don't I like about them? Well, I'm going to show you in a minute. I've seen a lot of videos, and in particular I watched a video, and there was a guy on YouTube called Tony McKenzie. He's an old dude. I don't like him that much. He fucking prattles too much. He talks a lot of bullshit, and he tells shit jokes and laughs at them, and he really is really annoying, but his knowledge is there. And I watched a video on what he reckons are Chibsons, and basically what he said on his video was absolutely bang on. It was right all the way through. So this has come in straight away. What do I notice? You could tell as soon as you see it, it's not a Gibson. It's just, the quality is just not there. I mean, I've just seen some fuck ups on here on my neck here, which I've not spotted before, but the new owner probably won't enter notice either. Right, what I'll tell you straight away is the frets, they look soft to me. Now, I do a lot of necks, because necks tend to be my specialty, necks and fretwork. So I can look at a guitar and I pretty much know what the frets are going to be like and what they're made of and blah blah blah. These frets are soft, some soft alloy. Now I already know from checking earlier, I took the strings off and I marked off which frets are going to need levelling, because some of them do need levelling. Every 6, which is pretty good actually. Frets are a decent size, a medium jumbo size. I've only got 6 to level, so that'll be pretty good. The nut itself, it looks like it's been put on by a thumbless chimp. It's really terrible. It's cheap plastic, it's all chewed up. The tuners, we are telling you, it's got Grover stamps on back. We all know you don't use real Grovers, they're not real Grovers, but they actually turn well. There's no play in them, they turn well, and the ratio seems pretty good. Now, what don't I like about this? Well, let me show you the nut for starters. I'm going to take this bridge off before it falls off, the saddle's off. I'm going to bring it up. Now look here. It's sat on a little ridge there. The nut is too big for that ridge. You think that's okay, we'll get around that, we can get around that. Well, look at the other side. What a bodge job. It's bodged right up here. It's come from factory like this, and there's a gap between the binding. I'm going to replace the nut. I'll show you with what in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this with epoxy and fill it in, slightly colour it. What else do I like about this? Well, look at this. Less said about that, the better we know. That's not real. But got Gibson on my headstock, my inlays look good. So from a distance, someone not in the know, it looks okay. Now look at the binding on the headstock itself. It's really shallow. It's smooth, it's level, but it's a different colour to the guitar itself. It's not level. So that's just on that part. Now the nut, let's have a look at this nut. Wow, this is amazing, this nut. Piece of cheap shit plastic, look at it. It's all chewed up with the strings here, look, you can see that. So we're going to replace that straight away. Again, what you're getting with Chinese job is here. Little tin pot screws in here. I'll guarantee they'll chew up as soon as I remove them, unless I'm really careful. So we know that's going to be a bag of shite. Now then, back down here. The neck itself looks okay. The binding's not superb. But I know the neck's straight because I've checked it and my frets are pretty level, so I can level them, so that's it. But here, you get to these parts here, look. I've just noticed these. Look here where the binding touches the body, just come here. See that? With some paint over there. And again here, There's a line of hand painted paint just here. That's just been added on later and it goes through the binding here, look. That bit of paint, really, really shoddy. That's been added later after the guitar's been polished, and here on the heel joint. We just dabbed some paint over it after the effect. So really, really shoddy workmanship, just to make it look good from a distance. It's a glued in neck, set up pretty well. So that's what I've noticed straight up. Now coming back here, I can't bring a guitar back in. We've got a problem here. Edge of a fretboard, there's all bits of wood chewed off it, look. See this? It's all chewed here. I've just noticed that when it was like sat down there. The pickups, they're not in straight, they're bent. This one's bent that way, and this one's bent another way. See there, they're not sat in right. We'll get back down to that in a minute. So, overall, what do I think? Well, the body itself, the guitar itself, is light. There's no weight there. I've got a Nevada behind me, weighs twice as much as this. And that Nevada cost me 25 quid, and I did 60 quid of upgrades on it. And I tell you what, that Nevada plays like a Gibson. This doesn't. Will it play like a Gibson? Yeah, definitely. We can get it to play like a Gibson in time, but we've got to do a lot of work on it and do a lot of upgrades. So what's wrong with this? Well, like I say, the pickups, this one here is leaning into the body and that one's leaning the opposite way. So none of the pickups are right, so I won't move, it's set in there solid, so I've got to try and alter them. Looking at the rest of the guitar, the binding's okay. It's not perfectly level to the guitar. You can feel a bit of a ridge here and there. It's okay, it looks alright. Is the angle of the neck right to the body? I don't know. I had a vintage guitar, a V100 made by John Hornby and vintage brand, and it was white like this. It was the same as this, and to be honest, it was better. My big problem now, we're going to get to a big problem in a minute. The speed knobs aren't even right, but they're okay. Before we talk about these mounting studs and everything, let's get into the electrics. They're exactly how I thought they'd be. Shitter little mini pots. They're all coming out. I'm going to rewire completely. What I've been asked to do with this, I've not even looked at three-way yet. I'm going to get the three-way out now, but I'm going to talk to you while I'm taking the three-way out. What I've been asked to do on this guitar is to get it playable, to replace the electrics, replace the wiring and fix the nut area, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now also what I would do here, I've not been asked to do this, I would replace the freeway because you know it's going to be a piece of crap in here. Also the cavity control plates, they don't fit proper. One's sunk in far too much, it means they've always been routed too deep. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Why I just undo this guitar, just taking the three-way out. And then I'm going to turn the guitar over and I'm going to show you where we're going to alter things. Okay. So, is it all bad? No, it's not all bad. The thing is, you're paying £135 for a guitar. You're going to customise them anyway. You're going to upgrade them, which is fine and dandy. But would I pay £300 for one delivered? No, and I'll tell you why. Because when you put some decent pickups in and pay me some money to sort it all out, let me show you what I mean about this three-way with cavity here. Look, it's got a pad in here because they've countersunk this hole too deep, so it's got a pad in there to try and make it straight. Why would I not pay that? Well, for starters, it's going to cost you £300 to get it here, and if you're going to upgrade it, if you want a decent set of pickups, you could pay us £200 odd for decent pickups, but if you really want a decent set of pickups, you'll probably pay about 50 odd quid. Then you're going to want to change, I personally would change the studs. I'll show you why in a minute. In fact, before I even talk to you how much it's going to cost you, let me show you this. Because this astonished me, and Tony McKenzie pointed this out on one of the ones he had in. A real Gibson bridge here sits on the 4mm studs, not the 6mm. These 6mm you think would give more stability, wouldn't you? It's not the case with this. Look at this. Look how much movement there is there. There's free 4mm movement there, and there, and again on here there's a couple of mil. So when you've got the saddles on, look at the movement you've got there. Can you see that? 3 or 4 mil. They're so loose in there. They need replacing with proper, I won't say proper Gibson gear. You get some decent Goto gear, get some Goto or Wilkinson gear in there, which ain't going to give you that move. Now, about movement. Thing is, when this is set up and the strings are on, it's going to pull it forwards that way, and it's not going to move. So once it's set up, it's going to be alright, but it is not ideal. You want that rigid. So that's it, that's all the faults pointed at. So why would I not buy one of these? Well, you can buy 150 quid, yeah? What's your shipping going to be? 75 quid, that takes you to 230. Your import duty is going to be a fifth of everything. So if you pay 230, a fifth of that is going to be 46, is it? 46 quid? I say 50 quid. That takes you to 275. You got a bit of insurance on there. You probably got a post office fee. It's going to be nigh on 300 quid to get it here. Once you've paid your 300 quid, you've got to go and get some. You're going to need pickups. Let's go 2 ways about it. You're going to need electrics. You want 4 pots, 4 500k pots. Now, if you want alphas or something, we're going to cost you around about 4 or 5 quid each. But if you want CTS or Gibson, it's going to cost you 8 9 quid each. You're going to want a nut, which is, if you probably go for bone, or what I tend to use new bone because I'm vegan. New bone one by Graftex is going to cost you a tenner. You got 4 pots, going to cost you 25 quid. You got 2 sprawl capacitors or decent capacitors going to cost you 10 quid. So them parts are going to cost you 35, 40 quid with a nut, 45 quid. Then you're going to want to go and get stud inserts for your bridge and for your saddles and for your tailpiece. And you're going to need a tailpiece and a new bridge. You're talking another 100 quid there, then pickups another 100 quid, it's another 200 quid. It's cost you 500 quid minimum. To get this upgraded to the spec you need, and to buy one in from China and pay all that bollocks, you're looking at £500. Is that guitar going to be worth £500 ever? Nah, nowhere near. What would I do? Rather than buy that, I wouldn't buy a second-hand Gibson. I'd go and get something like a 2013, 2014 LPJ, a junior type. But you can get the LPJ. The LPJ is not quite a junior, but you can get one with humbuckers. If you don't have a brilliant finish, you've got a satin finish, but you've got your 4918, your 500T Gibson pickups, which are great. You get a real Gibson stamp on it because it's a real Gibson. So it's stamped Gibson USA at the back of the headstock. It's a real Gibson. It's going to cost you. You pick them up. Pick them up 400 quid used. Probably even less than that. You might want to pick them up brand new for 500-600 quid. Rather than faff about with this and have something that's not real, I would go and buy a real cheap Gibson or a used Gibson. Probably one of the LPJs. So. Is it all doom and gloom with this? No, not at all, not at all. I've got the bits here. I'm putting in, I've got some brand new alpha pots in there, A and B type 500k, which are going in. I've got some brand new 715 or 716p sprawl capacitors, which I'm going to stick in there. And I've got a brand new Graftex new bone, where new bone is man-made bone, nut. That is actually slightly slimmer than a regular Gibson nut, so it's going to fit on that properly. So I'm going to fit that on there to get that crap old nut off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to level the frets. I'm going to pour the electrics in, pour the new electrics in. I'm going to use Gibson grade wiring, which I'll use some braided stuff down here. And I'll have some copper AWG22, which I'll use that for the earth wires and blah 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 blah. So I'm going to waz all that in, get all that done. So it's going to have new electrics, new wiring, a new nut. I'm going to fix that nut area best I can. I'll be using some epoxy resin in there. Going to level the frets, recrown the frets, polish get some oil on the fretboard, polish them there frets, and put it back together. For the future, I've already talked to the owner. For the future, he's going to look at upgrading the pickups. I would also suggest. It doesn't necessarily have to upgrade these, but being as you're going to have to do the posts anyway, I'd have a new bridge, I'd have a new stop tailpiece. Maybe you can use that again, but I would definitely put new posts in there. So we'll look at pick up some posts later on. and that's it. I'm not going to video the work, I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to bring the guitar back once it's all done, because all the processes I'm going to be using to do on this, I've done many times on other videos. Fret leveling, fret crowning, blah blah blah, I've done on many of my videos. I've recently done everything else I'm going to do on here. The electrics we all know about, so I'm going to get on with it, get it done, get it back together, and do another video, and we'll get it back to its own, and we'll talk about what's going to happen in the future. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Christian Guitars, Victor from Christian Guitars. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm going to stick the darts back on. I'm going to tinker about with the guitar. I'll get it done over a week, and I'll get back to you in another video later. Until then, be good to each other, and I'll talk to you soon.